Hello everyone, it's Rich DIY Landlord here, and today I'm actually not out in the field working. I'm in the hole under my house, otherwise known as the basement. This is where all the real estate magic happens anyhow. But I'm glad to be here. I've spent the last 12 weeks working on a project house. Glad to have an office day finally. It's short-lived. I head back out next week. Monday, it's Friday. Monday I start on a rehab for an investor that I know. So I'll take at least a week. But anyhow, I'm enjoying the day down here and wanted to take some time and post some the numbers on the house. I just posted the video I posted yesterday. It was called door number 29 before and after. I wanted to step through the numbers on this house and show you how I calculate things, and hopefully you can get something out of this. I'm going to do this in kind of two different ways since it is a single family house. We'll first calculate it like it's a flip, and then we'll calculate it as a rental. I have no intention of flipping this house, but I do like to calculate it both ways, being it's a single family house. So let's dive in here to the numbers. So the purchase price on this house was $69,000. Because this was not in the MLS, I bought this from a bank, and because it's not in the MLS, they wouldn't give me a real estate commission. I had my real estate license, but they still wouldn't give me a commission on it because it hadn't been posted to the MLS yet. I will make a video on different ways I've been able to find deals like this, but for today, let's just stay focused on the numbers, and I'll get that video out shortly on different ways to find deals. Closing cost. I don't really think I don't think I had any. If it was minimal. I mean, it was a cash deal. They actually paid the title company because they wanted to use their own. So I'm going to say zero on this. For repairs, I haven't entered all the receipts in the system, but I went through and tallied up all the big items, and that came to $8,300. And kind of the breakdown on that, I had about a little under $2,000 in labor between the carpet guy. Hired some people to help me tear down that building and get all the junk out of those buildings, and then the rest of it was materials. I'm going to set this. Well, this totaled $8,300. I'm going to say it was $10,000. I was going to Lowe's every day buying little items, you know, caulk, nails, whatever, screws. So let's just. I feel comfortable that it was probably under $10,000, but let's just say it was $10,000. Holding cost, I held this for 3 months, and so with figuring taxes, insurance, and utilities, I'm going to say it was about $300 a month or $900. So my total cost, I have about $79,900 in this property. The after repair value, or what I think I could sell the property for, it's tough in this area. I mean, there's houses from $34,000 that have sold to $200,000 that have sold recently. So you just kind of have to gauge where you think it's at based on your experience. Given that this is a newly remodeled house, it's a low cost house, which there's not a lot of inventory and a lot of demand for it. I'm going to guess the ARV is close to $110,000, and that's been fairly conservative, I think. Let's make it 110. So equity position, I came out with $30,000 in equity in this house right now. Now, if I went to sell it, I wouldn't get all that because I'd have selling costs associated with it. But it's still nice to come through this, have some positive equity, and it's really where you want to be when you buy these houses, because you got to have multiple exit strategies. If I need to sell this house and sell it quick, I could do that to raise capital and not lose money on it. So that's evaluating it as a flip. Let's move over here and take a look at evaluate it as a rental property. So the purchase price was $69,000, and it was cash, so it's 100% down. Initial repairs, we said $10,000, plus we had $900 in closing costs, so I'm going to include that in here, $10,900. And we didn't have closing cost. I think I said closing cost up here, and holding cost was $900. The rent, I've actually already got someone that says they want it. I don't have it under contract, but I'm going to rent it for $1,100. And I looked up, HUD will pay actually $1,150 for Section 8 for a 3-bedroom. So I feel pretty confident $1,100 is a good market rate for this. Occupancy rate, I don't, I kind of do the opposite of most people look at vacancy rate. I look at occupancy rate, which this is 95%. That would be a 5% vacancy. I would, I don't run anywhere near this. I probably run 2% across my portfolio, but I have 29 rentals in there. If this is your only property, you probably want to make it more like 8%. If you just have, you're scraping together the money to buy one single family rental. If a tenant, messes it up and you have to go and do a lot of repairs and get it rented, it's probably going to take you a month. Could take you a month for sure. So I'd probably figure 92% occupancy or 8% vacancy if it's my only property. But across my portfolio, I run at probably 2 to 3%. I still do 95% just to or 5% vacancy just to be safe. Property management expenses as a DIY landlord, we don't have any of those. Taxes, this one's important to make sure you get this right. So in Indiana, where I'm at, wrong screen, the taxes are for an investor, a property you don't live in, it's about 2% of the assessed value. So on this one, the assessed value is $84,300. So if we do, I've already done it. So 84 times 2%, it's about $1,680 a year. If I would just went with what the former owner paid, I would have looked up and put $442 a year in. But you can see they have all kinds of exemptions on this house that reduce their tax bill. So that could be a major hit if you miss that. So please, if you don't know how it works in your area, call your assessor and figure it out before you buy a house. So let's step back over to our sheet and we'll put $1,680 in for taxes. And then for insurance, just based on my other properties, I'm going to say that's about $600. Utilities, we don't have any utilities a month. And then maintenance and capital improvements, I'm going to put 10%. So for that, that's 5% for maintenance, which is someone calls you, my toilet's broke, you have to fix it, whatever. That's also 5% for capital improvements. So you got to put away money each month for things like the roof, the furnace goes out, the water heater, big ticket items like that. 5% I feel is about right for a DIY landlord, although I see people using this that have property management companies. They use 5% for each of these. It feels a little light to me if you're not doing the work yourself. I would probably bump it up to 15% for the two combined if I was going to hire a property management company. But being a DIY landlord, I can get by with the 10% on that pretty comfortable. So we look up here, our total income after we back out vacancy is $1,045 a month or $12,500 a year. Our expenses are $295 a month or $3,500 per year. So that leaves us with $750 a month cash flow on this property, or $9,000 for a year. So if we look at some of the key metrics over here, cash on cash return, which is probably the biggest one I look at. So we're getting 11.27% cash on cash return, which is pretty good for an unleveraged purchase. I would expect higher if I was leveraging it, buying a bigger property and leveraging it with a loan. And our cap rate is exactly the same because there is no mortgage on the property, so it's the same as the cash on cash return. And years to recoup initial investment. So it take me about 9 years to get my money back on this based on the current rents. But we know rents will go up. It'll be a little bit shorter than that, hopefully. And two, hopefully I don't have to spend as much in maintenance and capital improvements since I've just changed out a lot of the things and it's fixed up. So that's a quick run. I don't know what this number is down here, but that's a quick run of the numbers on this property. Please let me know what you think. Let me know if you think, is this a good or bad deal in your area based on the class of property? And also let me know what you think about the calculations. Please leave comments, and if you got a different way or input on this, I'd be happy to hear it. But anyhow, thanks for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this, and I'll see you next time.